It's good morning. How is everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. Today we are going to talk about the in-laws. So if you're finding me for the first time, please like my page, share this video as you come in, and I have a YouTube channel too for your friends and family who are not on Facebook. So after I finish this video, most of the time I will download it to YouTube, so that way you can share it with your family and friends. So when you come in, please share this. How is everybody doing? Okay, so today, in fact yesterday, I'm sorry, I checked my video late and I found the music was so loud. So I think I don't need to have music, because you know what is the point anyway, because it was so loud and I didn't do well. But anyway, so please share this video, go to my page, like my page. Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful. So today we want to talk about in-laws. I take a deep breath as I talk about in-laws. I want to start with my personal story. I'm number 18 of my father's 21 children. So when I was born, hey Rose, how are you? When I was born, my oldest brother had a child. So I was born into a sister-in-law. Her name was Sally Nyaboke, who I named my daughter after, because this woman was everything to the family. She was very much loved. And after that, there was another sister-in-law. Her name is Nyabonyi, my dad's second child. She came like quick. And then after that, there was my sister-in-law, Jacqueline. I can list all of them. Not Rose, but Pam. Oh. Gaki, Paul, Pam. Good morning, Audrey. So anyway, I was born into sister-in-laws. So the difference with me personally is I experienced my father and my stepmothers loving my sister-in-laws. So I don't know anything but love. And the reason why I experienced that, because we used to have family meetings. My father was a polygamous man, and we used to have meetings every 3 months. So when we would sit on the meetings, my dad would point out the issues that were going on. He would call out my brothers. And my dad looked at my sister-in-laws as a gift that had happened to his sons. And they can tell you any day, yeah? So, Baba Jackie, how you doing? So, that is what I know. That's what I grew up knowing, that your sister-in-laws or your in-laws are people that, like, just thank God that somebody married your sibling. But that wasn't the case by the time I was growing up, and I met a husband and I started dating my husband. I quickly met his family, and quickly I was woken up with the in-law thing. Mora, how are you? And the first time it happened, the first time my husband's relative called me out, I was shocked. Oops, I'm like, oops, what happened? At that time, the crime I did was follow my husband around. At the time, I used to follow him around. So that was a crime. And I didn't know it was a crime, because I was suffocating their brother. I didn't know that. Just a small thing like that. I was suffocating him. I was 21. And I was following this guy around. And I was like looking like I was controlling him. I was a menace. I was terrible to this, their brother. So anyway, that's the first time I started seeing this in-law thing. And you know, I'm young. And fast forward, I have learned so much. Not a lot of us have been able to survive in-laws. And you cannot survive in-laws if you don't understand a few things. It's very simple. You're coming into a family, and you're trying to start a family with that person that you're married to. And now you have your own relationship, and your spouse has his or her own relationship with the family. And then quickly, I think on year 2, if my husband did something, I would tell my brother. Then my sister-in-law, who was from Sierra Leone, called me one day. I would go to my brother's house and tell on my husband, like tell on him like a few things. My sister-in-law from Sierra Leone called me. She was way older. And she told me, Penny, when you're married, you don't keep telling your brother these things, because you know what? They are going to hate your husband, and you will make up with your husband. My sister-in-law, Virginia, told me that. She gave me that advice. I was probably 22. And I always thank her for that, because at the time I was doing it, I didn't realize I was putting my husband in a bad situation. So personally, that's the experience I've had, and I always took advice from people. Okay, so I want to talk to people who are married. We always have to remember that we are a team. When we meet someone and we want to marry this person, we are a team. So when I met my husband, I told him we are 21 and we are very close. I introduced him to my family, and we have all kinds of drama in this family. I told my husband the truth about my family, but I told him, what you can do for me, keep your boundaries, because you cannot understand a family of 21 with 4 wives. No, he came from a smaller family, 6. The father is a pastor. His background, he's a Nairobi child. His background was different from mine. I'm a village girl. So I told him, please keep your boundaries. Just keep lanes. Stay with your relatives. I stay with my relatives. Okay? And that's what we've done for the past 27 years. And since I was given that advice, I never went back to my family to report my husband. That ended. And I have to assume my husband is not telling on me, because nobody has ever approached me from his family to ask me about anything. But the thing is, like where I come from, the Kisii people, we are very aggressive. If somebody came to me to ask me about my marriage, I'm probably thinking of violence. I'm not thinking of solving it light, because listen, it's my marriage problem. I'm thinking how I'm going to fight this in-law who's going to come after me. But guess what? They've never come. In fact, none of my husband's family has looked for me. So you see, and we thank God for that. And it is because we decided we are a team, and we set those boundaries between the two of us, okay? And you know, once you set those boundaries, you have to enforce them. Don't just create those boundaries and you know what, and all of a sudden you forget. He always has to remember when drama is unfolding in my family to stay away. I have to remember when drama is unfolding in his family, I stay away. Communicate clearly. Okay, when I'm dealing with my husband's siblings, I have to communicate with them professionally. Why? Because they don't know me, I don't know them. The Ongwenyi aggression and the Mbane calmness, you understand, might collide very badly. So when I talk to my in-laws, I have to talk to them professionally. Why? Because we are two different people. In fact, we are very aggressive. The Kamba people and the Kisii people are very aggressive. So I might say something to my sister-in-law that I think is normal, and it's not normal in Ukambani. So when I look at my in-laws, I treat them like it's a place of work. Why? My husband hired me for a job in his home. I have to respect everybody in that family. I have to remember I am a guest. I have to remember that that's not my home. I'm a stranger in that home. So if anything, at my place of work, I don't go to my place of work and start fighting everybody. Oh no, you'll be fired. They will chase you and they will tell you the girl before you was better. They are quick to remind you. Set those boundaries and keep them professionally. Set realistic expectations. Another thing, ego. Okay, I'm married to my husband. We are doing all these things. And now my husband doesn't want to tell the family that we are living on loans. Now my husband doesn't want to tell people that our lights get cut off. We are struggling financially. If we talk about money for a minute, he keeps it to himself. But you know what? When the sister comes, she wants this, he'll give. When the mother comes, she wants this, he'll give. Ego. There's an ego that your husband has because it's the African culture to show that he's doing well. So regardless of what you're doing or whatever, how you're living in the house, your husband has that ego where he's really trying to make the family know that he's the man of that home. So what do? Talk to him, caress his ego, and redirect him politely, because sometimes you will go in debt for your husband's family because your husband's family think you're doing well when you're not really doing well. Communicate clearly. Set realistic expectations. Okay, don't expect your husband to take a loan and give it to the sister, which some people do. I take a loan, I give it to my sister. Set goals, that are realistic. Encourage your spouse to tell his or her family the truth about yourself. You can see me flying around with my children. You can see me traveling. You can see me driving a nice car. But all those things could be borrowed. So when my husband's family is seeing all these things, they might think like, oh, this woman is eating our brother's money. And sometimes they don't know it's the woman who took the loan. Okay? Tell your family the truth. Mokogoti mom, how are you? Tell your family the truth. Don't allow your husband, don't allow your wife to deceive the family. And sometimes these things are so deep, you don't want anybody to know. You understand? But between you and your spouse, you know what's going on. If you're not telling your family the truth, they're going to bring you down, especially the firstborn boys. The firstborn boys in families, marriages never survive. When I tell you never survive, when I look at my dad's eldest brother, not my dad's, my brother, my oldest brother, my late brother, we drained him dry. We drained that guy dry. Good morning, Koske. We were like demanding. That's the African culture. We drained them. Okay? They were guests in their house, in and out. So when you marry into a family, take your time, observe the family. Because some of these families, it is too dramatic for you to understand. Observe how these people live before you even get in it. Ladies, I tell you, ladies, be very, very careful. Don't meet a man in the club and marry him. You don't know where he's coming from. Men, don't meet a woman in a club and marry her. People don't think about these things. The woman you're marrying, the man you're marrying, the family background matters. I am who I am because I'm from Nyando Chebere. I am who I am because of the values that my father instilled in me, that my mother instilled in me. I grew up in a family that was very strong-willed. My father was very strong-willed. My husband is who he is because of his father. He is who he is because of his mom. Those things that were instilled in him. In my home, there was no alcohol. Nobody drank. My parents were sober parents. If you marry a family that mom, dad drink, cousins, uncle, everybody's drunk, you might never understand how your husband is drunk and breaking chairs. That's what his father did. You are not going to change those people overnight. Some families get drunk all together. They don't choose. They all get drunk. Everybody starts getting lit and everybody gets lit. Are you going to change that? No. Be careful what family you're marrying into. When you want to know the bad in-laws always come. They want to tell you something. My sister will come and tell me something. My husband's sister will come and they are always saying something to you in your ear. They always want to whisper something. They always want to help you make decisions about your children, even where your children should go to school. They are always whispering something. Okay? They'll always try to find something to put you down. They treat you like a child. They don't accept you as a grown-up who met your spouse and you married into that family. They are always saying something negative about you. Now, who did you marry? The family or your husband? People always ask this question. You married your husband, but you don't marry the man. You marry the family. So be observant, because they are going to tear you, and you are not going to take your husband and live with your husband alone. You must deal with the in-laws. If you're choosing marriage, the in-laws are there to stay. And now there's a new crisis. Women, we are not leaving our families. We are the ones ruling. I'm married in Ukambani, and yet I'm the one dictating what's happening in my home in Nyando Chebere. My sister-in-laws are not even allowed to say anything. So now when there's something, my brothers are calling me to help them make a decision. Not their wife. They are calling Penina from Nyando Chebere, their sister, to make a decision that is supposed to be made in Nyando Chebere with their wife. I left to go to Ukambani. Why should I leave Ukambani and go back to Kisii to make decisions? Because our boys now, the men we are with now, don't know how to make decisions. The men we are with now don't have boundaries. The men we are with now can call yours a sister, your sister. A man can call his sister and discuss his wife like trash. A man can call his mother and discuss his wife like trash. A man can call his father. Even some of them, worst of them, they'll call your mother. My husband is going to call my mother and trash talk me to my mother. Trash talk me to my father. Trash talk to me to my siblings. Always remember, sibling rivalry never ends. Your brother, your sister can look like they're looking out for you, My husband's sister can look up like he's caring, but you know what? She is the one tearing our marriage, because my husband is allowing her to put her inputs in our relationship. Once you marry a man, it is up to you to sit down and decide what you want to do for your family. Before I pen down, let's talk about intimacy. Some things we don't discuss. Now that I've been married for 27 years, there are things I can never tell my husband's sister. There are things I can never tell my husband's brother, his mother, his father. Intimacy. The Bible says that two will come to make one. When we get to the bedroom and we remove all our nakedness, we are intimate and we make children, it puts two of us in a relationship. When things go wrong in the bedroom, when men get erectile dysfunction, when women are going through, let's say, vaginal dryness, they are going through menopause, when we are having problems with our sexuality, even going to the doctors is a problem. So now you see your brother acting up. You don't know your brother got erectile dysfunction. Your brother has not been able to have sex for the past maybe 2 years. When your brother's sex organs break, there is no way your brother is going to tell you. When your sister, something has happened to your sister, vaginal walls, she's not able to perform sexually, she's not going to tell you. Why do we choose to tell everybody else everything about our marriage except that sexuality? That is very personal. And that's why you choose somebody to marry somebody so you can start a family with them. You don't include everybody else. You don't include the community. Don't include everybody else, because you know what? When you are all naked together making children, your father is not there, your mother is not there, your sister is not there, your brother, nobody is in your bedroom, and you produce children. Are you able to go and get naked in front of your father-in-law? Are you able to go get naked in front of your sister? Are you able to go get naked in front of your friends? Men, I'm talking to you. Women, I'm talking to you. If you're choosing marriage, sit with your spouse. Remove the in-laws from your marriage. And the man's side, believe me, the man's side, when a man has brought a woman, I want you to understand there is no good marriage. We are just enduring. There are things I'm living with that my sister-in-law doesn't know. There are things I'm living with that my father-in-law doesn't know. There are things I'm living with that my brother, very painful things, sad things. If I told them, they will change the way they are looking at me. But these are things we choose not to share. We choose not to put everything out there, especially our intimacy. Take your time. Respect your marriage by not discussing your marriage with everybody. In-laws will destroy you in a heartbeat. There is no way I'll meet my sister-in-law's expectation. There is no way I'll meet my parents-in-law's expectation. There is no way you're going to meet expectations of your in-laws. There are very few in-laws, and very few. Out of 100%, there's a 20% chance in-laws that are nice and accepting, that understand that you marrying their brother, you are a gift to the family. We would never want to look at in-laws, women who marry into the family, as a gift. And with that said, I honor my father-in-law. My late mother-in-law, she's gone. My father-in-law, okay, Mr. Mbane, knows. I tell people, there are people who don't think I'm very nice. There are people who don't think I'm the greatest wife. There are people who think that, oh my goodness, Penny's husband was, oh my God, so unfortunate. But I have a father-in-law that calls me, if not weekly, very often. And my father-in-law loves me with all the drama from Kisii. And he would laugh about it. He laughs about the characteristics that I have. And he would joke about my father. He say, oh, Ongwenyi was this. My father-in-law, a wonderful man. I have never seen a father-in-law yet. Somebody to share with me. If you have a good father-in-law, tell me, to see if you can compete with mine. Mine is very accepting. Wonderful man. Loves the kids. Loves everybody. And you know what he has in him? The fear of God. My father-in-law knows that I'm a sinner. My father-in-law knows that I'm a gift to the son. If anything, he's dealing with me because you know what? Here I am. I married the son. We are making a family. And because of that, I have to deliver. I have to meet his expectations. He's not looking at me like this bad daughter-in-law. No. He's looking at me like a gift. The way my father looked at my sister-in-laws. What does that tell you? I married into a family that had similarities. I came from a family that valued in-laws. And I married into a family that valued in-laws. So before you pick your spouse, think about it. Don't just marry anybody. Okay? Create those boundaries. Maintain them. You don't drink with your in-laws. You don't sit there and start telling your in-laws. Treat your in-laws as your place of work. Ladies, if you're married into a family, that is not a place to go reveal who you are. We don't do that at your place of work. A home that you married into, that is a place that you're working. You are there to work and earn and get your own family. Once you get your own family, now that my Brandon has a beard, once my children are grown, now I can start settling down. But before that, I don't just go into a family and start settling down. Now I have invested. I have 4 stocks in that home. I have 4 children in that home. And my stock is about to be invested well. Now I can start settling. But before you settle, remember, before you're fully vested, don't start acting up. You'll be thrown out of that place. You'll be fired. That is your job. Be professional about it. Respect your sister-in-laws. Respect your brother-in-laws. Choose silence in most cases, because sometimes they're not acting because they hate you. They're acting because they want to protect their brother. Cheers and God bless you. Please share this video and thanks for watching. I think I went over my time, which I just have to. But please, keep those boundaries and always remember that behind all this drama, you're raising children that need their aunties, that need their grandparents, that need their uncles. You're not just you. It's not about you. It's about those stocks options. I have 4 stocks. It's about my 4 children that I gave birth to. That is my investment that I'm worried about. I'm not worried about everybody else. If I start worrying about everybody else, my stock options will not grow. You want your stock options to grow. Once you've invested in a stock. Invest in it. Don't act crazy trying to prove a point where you're married. You're not proving anything. You're not changing those people. You are the stranger in that home. So the best thing you need to do, you need to humble yourself so you can put your roots. A tree that is just planted, if it rains a lot, it's going to be washed away. But a tree that has been in a place for 20 years, a tree that has been set in the same place for 27 years, it's very hard for my in-laws now to come and wash me. But a woman who just came can be washed. My roots, my Brandon is 23. One root is 23. One root is 20. One root is 17. I have another little root coming at 10. You understand? Good morning, Mikali. I've not seen you for some time. Okay? I have taken deep roots now. And my roots are 27 years old. How deep are your roots before you start messing up those roots? Because you know what? They are going to uproot you and you'll be running around with these kids. And you are going to deny your children, grandparents, sister-in-laws, aunties and everything. Because you know what? You talked too much. You didn't know you were hired. A man interviews and picks one woman to take home. You are the best candidate. Go there and perform. Let your work speak for you. Don't talk. Do your job performance. When they look at the work you're doing, they'll say, you know what? Our son hired a very good employee. Tick. And they will not fire you. But if you're a bad employee, you will be fired. That is not your place of work. You are hired there. And you can be, the way they hired you, they are going to fire you the same way. And then another employee will be brought. You understand? That's how they keep changing employees, some until the company collapses. Even you men, if you keep hiring and firing, you'll never have stability. The longer you keep an employee, the deeper your foundation of your company. If you keep hiring and firing, they're going to eat you up and just finish you. By the time you know it, you're going to be buried poor. Cheers. God loves you. And you know what? Love yourself that much to make sure that you have good relationships with your in-laws.